everyone who has joined today from Canada, US. I know it's past the noon. Here it's around 9:45 p.m. So lovely meeting all of you. And today we are going to discuss a little serious topic. And the reason it is serious because left, right, center, regularly I come across a lot of news and a number of people reaching out to me saying that, oh, I was not expecting my job loss, but I have lost my job. And it's not just in India, it's across the globe. And therefore it's making it very little disturbing. And at the same time, because I myself and our team work in the AI domain, and because we work closely with many large organizations, irrespective of different domains, we are seeing it firsthand. We are even seeing it from the level where the leaders are having certain vision, and that probably puts me with certain level of authority to tell you what is happening around and how the world is going to change, particularly in terms of the career, in terms of the job. And when there are some green pictures, there are also some green pictures, right? So it's not possible that the world cannot live without equilibrium. So it has to be that if some jobs are getting lost, then certain jobs are getting created. So it is not just discussion about where we are losing, but it's also more important to know where the world is greener and where the new demands are getting created and how our skill transformation can happen. Once we have the both side of the picture, it's much easier for us to prepare ourselves, prepare anyone for the changing world. Okay, a lot of large organizations already transforming their internal talent because they know that hiring from outside isn't always possible, but not all companies are investing in the talent upskilling. And therefore, in case you fall under one of such organization where organization isn't doing enough for you, then it's your time to take ownership of your career and do something so that you stay ahead of the risk. So that's the whole topic today. Manu has already given some beautiful introductions. I will share my screen. But before we go, I know it was said that to keep your video off, but I always find it more easy to speak to people when I at least see some of the faces. So if you feel like, you are video friendly, you are okay to show up your face during the sessions, please do that. Just keep yourself muted till the time we are open up for the Q&A. Put all your questions in the chat window. Do not hold any of your question. Okay, don't think that whether it is a good question, because ultimately every question is good. And you only learn by asking, you only learn by doing. So please take please feel free to ask whatever questions you have. This is a very safe environment. Whatever getting discussed here stays here. Even if you feel like, okay, there are some questions which puts you in a vulnerable position, you do not want to ask here. At the end of the my presentation, I will share our email IDs. You can always have one-on-one conversation with me, but absolutely feel free to ask any questions that comes in your mind. Okay. I'll share my screen and I will show my presentation. Please give me some thumbs up if you are able to see my presentation. Is it working? Anyone can unmute and say?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can
I
see.
can see you.
Jane.
Okay, cool. That's great. So, as I spoke about, so today's topic is how AI is going to disrupt the job market. And it's not in future, believe me, it's now, it's already happening, and we are already seeing it. And therefore, understanding the future of work, that is much more important than where it is going to change, and therefore what are the new demands which are coming in. Okay. Manu has already given a good introduction. I won't, go into exaggerations of any of this. You can actually look at my LinkedIn profile, but yes, I come from a very mathematics kind of background. Did my undergraduate in mathematics and theoretical computer science from Chennai Mathematical Institute, and then did my postgraduates from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. Started my career with McKinsey. Almost 7 years I spent there, worked across the globe. And then I moved on to the industry side with Airtel, Flipkart, Voot, Wacom 18, Z5, good number of organizations that I have worked. But beyond that, I think my last 3 years when established this DeltaCube.ai, where we do develop a lot of AI and GenAI driven solutions across the globe with multiple organizations. And at SETU School, we deliver the talent enablement either for the organizations or for the individuals, as well as we collaborate with universities to upskill the talents at a very nascent and early stage. So these 3 years have enriched me in a very vast way, because not just within one organization, I'm able to discuss with the top MDs and the CEOs and the decision makers of the organizations. I can discuss with the board and actually observe how their thinking are changing, and that is what has enriched me to talk to you today, to be able to bring therefore what is cooking in those rooms, because you may not be at the privy of knowing what is happening there. What you will see is the consequences of those discussions. But based on those discussions, I'm bringing what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and what I'm observing and experiencing. And that's why this is an open discussion. Feel free to ask any questions. So first thing first is the rise of AI and GenAI. It's no longer a future. At least 2 years back, when, or 3 years back, when ChatGPT came for the first time, a lot of people told that that's going to change the world. A lot of people told, oh, you know what, like blockchain, this is just another new technology. It's going to fade out very soon. But honestly speaking, over last 2.5 years, 3 years that we are observing it, we actually see it's not something that's going to fade, but it's not only growing, but it is also growing at a pace which is unprecedented. Earlier, if we had a new technology, people, and if you learn that new technology, you could have easily say that another 6 to 12 months I can survive with this new technology. Today, the world is changing probably every couple of weeks, which means keeping pace itself is a overwhelming thing. So what ChatGPT started with and what ChatGPT today and the number of other GenAI platforms, what GenAI can do 2.5 years back versus what it can do today has changed so rapidly that it's reshaping the industry, which people finding it difficult even just to keep pace. So you can imagine it's no more a future, it is just happening now as we are talking. So there are, of course, I'm sure each one of you must have experienced some or other GenAI platform, whether it is ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, Claude, Perplexity, Midjourney, and many of this, which are accelerating these disruptions. The big giants technology companies, I would say, not only just growing this, but also heavily investing and fighting. There was a time when people used to fight for oil. The countries used to go into war for oil. Now is the time when countries probably will, go into war because of AI and data. Now, that is the level at which companies are investing and fighting, and the rivalry among the top technology companies are, and which therefore means the space they are trying to win means it's going to change, everyone's life significantly. Okay. So the global shift earlier was the situation where it was automating the physical labor. Okay. When the industry 2.0 came, it was more automating the physical labor. And that was one of a time when people observed a kind of tectonic shift happening. But now is the time when the automation of the cognition is happening. So I hope you understand what is the cognitive capabilities of the human. And now is the time when AI is harping there, and the automation is happening of the cognitive capabilities of human. And that is where the biggest global shift is happening. People are even started raising the question that the way AI is started behaving like human, what is the human going to do after some time? Okay, so that's a very high level philosophical questions. We are not going to discuss that, but ideally the automation is happening not of laborious jobs, but automation is happening of the cognitive tasks also. McKinsey report says, and this is a report you should actually read. It's called Generative AI and the Future of Work. This is specifically written for America, so you can actually read it. And it's very interesting the kind of research they have done. They are saying 30% of the work hours will be automated by 2030. And 2030 is not far. What they predicted 2030, I believe probably can even happen in 2026 itself, because they may not have predicted the pace at which the change will happen. Now, if you come from the bit of the analytical world, you understand this 30% is an average number. Looking at all different types of jobs that is available, if average, as an average, they are saying 30% of the work hours. By the law of average, there are some works which will be automated maybe 100%. There will be some works which hardly possible to automate, and therefore the average comes down to 30%. So therefore the jobs which are highly possible to automate are those which are at risk, and those jobs which are not possible to automate, or the new jobs which are getting created, that is the green area. And the yellow area is, okay, today probably we do not know, the job is changing. It is not completely getting replaced by AI, but it is actually changing in the way those profiles will be working. So I will talk about all these three pillars, those which are at risk, those which are changing, transitioning, and those which are getting created, so that you can figure out that are you in the red or the yellow area, but how soon we can move to the green area also. Um, so capabilities. So let's, even before that, let's understand what are the typical capabilities of the modern AI or Gen AI. It can automate any kind of repetitive digital task. So anything that you do digitally, whether it is about writing email, checking your calendar, planning for the day, responding to a person, or you are creating some marketing contents, or anything that is digital task, which is repetitive in nature, modern AI can completely automate it. Okay, there was a time, I think, at least 5 years back, what came was a RPA, robotic process automation. Robotic process automation was automating manual task, which is operational manual task. It was mimicking how a human is doing, and they established bots which can do those, mimic like a human and do the task. But in the modern AI, it can even automate the task which needs level of thinking, decision making, and creating, and therefore doing. So it is no more just mimicking you, it can independently start thinking and can have the autonomy of decision making. The second one, it can always generate context, generate any content, whether it is text, image, code, video, anything. Analyze massive data sets and generate insights. And many of you probably falls under the either going to or planning to be in the data analytics industry or are working in that industry. So this is something is going to change heavily, because GenAI now can absolutely analyze a massive amount of data and generate insights out of it. It doesn't require any human involvement. Understand and respond in natural language, that is one step ahead, because so far you needed to create a dashboard and code it in the system language, which is any kind of coding language, either SQL or Python or any of those. But now the best part is the business can ask the question in natural language, and GenAI can do all the task what needs to be done in the at the background and answer it back in the normal human language. So that means natural language, the moment the barrier between system and human breaks, because language was the biggest barrier. Every software developers, every coders, technical people had the biggest excellence is I can code in this language. Now that is the prejudice is going to be diluted, or actually getting diluted very big way. So the barrier between system and human has been reduced, because both can now converse in the same natural language. Personalize any customer experience at scale. That means, all the call centers, the BPOs, which was there, they are at a very high risk, because GenAI can completely personalize the customer experience at scale, and at times far better than what human does. So AI is not just equal to automation, it is decision making and the creative works at that level. Now, I want to highlight few specific ones for you to take a note. Automating any repetitive digital task, code creation, and analyze massive data and the generate insights. Because at least in this room, all of you are here should be more worried about these three things that GenAI can do. Okay. Now, therefore, the question is, what are the jobs most at risk? Number one, anything which is related to data entry or back office work. That is absolutely at risk. Customer service agents, as I spoke about, the complete BPO industry is at risk. Any paralegal or legal assistant, because today GenAI has started actually performing very well at the legal assistance level. Any kind of basic content writing, routine coders. Now this is the red line, for all of us, which is the any kind of the routine code creation, bug fixing, boilerplate codes, all of this, even end-to-end product creation, that can be done by GenAI. A person today who doesn't know coding can also create and launch an app just by using generative AI. And therefore that makes a very big challenge for any technology workers, whether it is in the software world or in the data science and the analytics world. Because if a non-coder can do it, then what difference remains? Okay. So the any kind of routing coding works. Of course, there are translator, transcribers, and many of this, which are also at risk. But for us, I think, one thing which is most important here, the coding jobs are very much at risk. And I think, you are already hearing a lot of the top tech people are saying that X percentage of the codes either are already written by AI in their organizations or are going to be written by AI. And to be honest, ideally, anyone doing a mediocre job will be very soon replaced by AI. AI has surpassed the level of postgraduate level and at times even PhD level of capabilities. So anything which is mediocre in nature, and if you do not have a skill which is at a level which is so difficult for AI to automate, it will be difficult to stand against. Okay. So any repetitive, rule based, predictable jobs are most vulnerable, to be just put it in a single liner. So, what are the typical career that GenAI already have started disrupting? As I told, the content creation. Just couple of days back, I was talking to one large digital marketing agency, and the digital marketing agencies, what they do, they actually take care of the complete social marketing, content creation, brand creation. Brand, the creatives, the image, video, all of those, right? So they take care of that. And it's a very large digital marketing agency. And I was talking to the top directors and the decision makers, the CEO, the owners of the company. And they said, "Oh, Jenny, can you tell us, look at our complete process, the way we do it. Can you tell us where all we can bring agents? And those agents will be able to do the job. I'm not going to fire my people immediately, but I want to also be prepared for future, because I want to ensure that if 50% of the task can be done automated or can be done better than my people, then why should I not take the advantage of it?" Okay. So see the words that they are saying. Code generations. I'm already seeing that code templates, bug fixing, full stack prototypes. This is totally possible without knowing codes. So GenAI can do that. So if your job is actually to mostly create, write the codes and do the job, get the job done, then this is something which is absolutely GenAI disrupting. Customer interactions, I already spoke about a lot of, recently I just heard IBM has, kind of reduced some 200 HR employees and replaced that with AI. The BPOs are, I already spoke about, design and the creative tasks. Education, we ourselves are in the educations, and we know that the disruptions which are coming, and not just know the disruptions, we ourselves are building some of those disruptions, like personalized AI instructors or tutor. Because I know I cannot produce great instructors from n number of human if I have to train 1 million people at a very high quality level. But we can train the AI to actually perform like the best instructors and give the personalized training to the learners. So we ourselves are building such product which will create the personalized AI tutoring for the people, and that is getting created at different level, at a very junior education level, at a K8 level, at K12 level, at college level, at a professional learning level, at different level this is getting created. We are not just the one, there are many other companies who are creating it. So GenAI is not just assisting human, it's actually replacing part of the knowledge work. Now, there was a time knowledge work was very safe. Even it is saying that a unless and until someone is a very great consultant, even some of this big consulting firm, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, all of them, even their job at stake. Okay. So now, enough about the red zone. So now let's talk about what are some of the yellow zone, where jobs are not replacing, but AI has started behaving like an assistant to those jobs, and therefore jobs are evolving. If AI start to work like an assistant, then the way we human work in those roles, that has to be changed. Okay, so it means it is being augmented but not replaced. And number one, and I'm already seeing it, is the doctors using AI for the diagnostics. I tell you, one of a pretty large hospital chain that we are talking to. They said that every senior doctor is so much stressed of huge number of patients coming in the OPD. At the same time, they have their surgeries, which are very stressful. And at the same time, they have to go for the round for the patients. They already have done the surgery. So they want to reduce the stress from the doctors. One of the way that they do it is by bringing the junior doctors in the row along with the senior doctors. What happens is in the OPD as you walk in, some of these junior doctors first work with you or work with the patients. They understand the problems. If you need to take some diagnostics, then they will suggest you. After all these things done, the senior doctor only spends probably couple of minutes quickly going through it, and if any course corrections needs to be done, they do it. Very soon that whole process is going to change, where patients will actually go through a large screen or maybe some robotic processes, where GenAI is going to do the detections, and people don't need to travel to hospitals for that purpose. I can tell you, this is in India. So if you look at one of the bank called IDFC Bank, are any traditional banks, you will see the branches are large. Each branch has a lot of people. IDFC is a bank who started heavy digital banking processes, and their branches are as small as probably a small medicine shop. Okay, or maximum, it will be like a small kirana store. Hardly some 200 to probably a 500 square feet area is what their bank branches will be. Maximum they will have 4 or 5 employees at each branch. The way they have started doing it, that has given them a huge profitability and started defining what the new age banking look like. They don't need the customers to come to their branches to open open any account. They actually have people with certain machine with them. They go to the customer's home, do every processes from the home, and get the check collected, and the account opening happens just like that. You hardly need to come to the bank ever. The medical processes are actually going to change heavily, where through AI, the you do not need to come to doctor. It's not the telemedical processes, but it is like you have some problem, you take a picture, you upload it on the system will get the diagnosis done, and it will send all the medicines and the prescriptions. Probably it will just go to the doctors for a quick cross check and validations and for the final signature, so that then you can take it and get the medicines. If there are places where AI is not sure, and it is also possible because we are creating such systems, we know it, there are certain scores that you can measure, that what is the uncertainty level. If it is uncertain, GenAI automatically will say, okay, I am uncertain. Please go and check with this and this doctor. So you can easily reduce 60% of the footfall to the hospitals, and the amount of the real estate every hospital builds will automatically shrink. And probably hospitals will be more for the surgeries and the serious cases, and doesn't require to be for the large amount of OPDs and such cases. Same is for the lawyers, same is for the marketers, teachers, and the analysts. Now, this is another place where you should be interested. Analysts who are using AI for the data summarization, storytelling. I give you the example with business analytics. One of the key role that a business analyst does is having the data. They actually create the dashboards out of it. They understand what is the business requirement, plan the KPIs, and based on that they create the dashboard. And then those dashboard, which are coded, predefined, that goes for the business people to observe it or use it. That is totally going to change. And there is something called generative business intelligence. Generative business intelligence means you do not have to create any of this canned dashboard beforehand. Business, so there will be a conversational portal like ChatGPT, which is just getting connected with the complete enterprise data. You do not need to create separate dashboards for separate business purposes, nothing. You just have that and getting integrated with the complete enterprise data sets. People having the right access, they will be able to ask the questions in natural human language. Those questions will automatically go and create the SQL code or any code that is needed at the backend. Will go and run the code on the database, fetch the data, put it in a tabular as well as in the visual representation form. Not only that, it will be able to summarize and derive the insights out of it in a natural human language. It doesn't require whether the person can understand the visual graph and take insights out of it. The GenAI will be actually writing it in the human languages. And not only just that, it will also give the suggestion that you have looked at this. Now, as a second level, these are the next 5 questions you should ask from the data. Once you click on just those questions, it will once again do the whole process and you are conversing with the data. So data will become a conversational commodity, not just a dashboard anymore, which you have taken time to create and then ship it to the business people. So AI is becoming a co-pilot in this case and not just a tool. Once again, this generative business intelligence is a huge interest. It is already happening. I am already seeing companies, I mean, very traditional companies like cement manufacturing companies are also have started using it where they hardly earlier used, the proper dashboard. But they are like, oh, wow, I can now just ask. I mean, we ourselves work with one such cement manufacturing and paint manufacturing company. And suddenly the adoption of data-driven decision making itself has changed. We are working with such company for since last year. And when we have delivered the first and the second versions of this, the MD was saying that Jenny, the adoption, like now in the board meeting, people are no more talking what they think. People are now talking, see, this is what is data saying, this is what is insights, and therefore we are doing it. Suddenly the adoption has changed. And that is what the GenAI is, doing. The capabilities are doing. Therefore, that company doesn't even require to hire a business analyst, doesn't require to hire a data analyst. They just have one person who work with us, who himself is also an AI engineer who understands, what we are suggesting, and collaboratively with us is able to co-create these products for their company business people.
Ujjani, I
Um,
had a suggestion. If you could
yes,
just, I know most of the people here are from the data analytics space. This case that you're talking about, the company that is a cement manufacturing, can you go a little deep in making us understand the actual process? I mean, yes, I understand that AI is used to generate those, summarizing the data and doing the storytelling and all those things. But how is AI able to get the data? I mean, what about the business requirements? Just in brief, how is
right,
it actually
right. Yeah,
working over there? A case study.
right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, see, first of all, cement manufacturing is a very traditional business, okay? And if you go and look at the plants, it's mostly the plant operations with so much labor, and they have the, large plants, large machineries, and also they have the freight. So these are the most important part of the whole business. So the plant, the raw material and the freight so that they can deliver the products to their end locations. And of course, they have the marketing and the other things out of it, but sales is another very important part. What was happening, it being a very traditional organizations, they didn't have the enough data education or enough data appreciation earlier. So the CIO of the organizations, he tried, having some external consulting companies. I'm not taking the name. So they came, they integrated the SAP, which is their complete ERP system. They created certain dashboards using the SAP data, and they produced around 20 different dashboards. Let's say one dashboard for the freight, the complete logistics part, one dashboard for the sales part, one dashboard for marketing, one for the plant operations, and all these things. Now, what happened is the MD and the company, the leadership, they didn't find enough adoption. Like, okay, it will run every day, it is there, but hardly people go and see it. If you ask them that, okay, why you are not looking at the dashboard, they're like, हाँ ठीक है मतलब I we get what I need to get it. I don't get enough things there, or it is very complicated, like looking at all the charts, then figuring out what the charts are telling us. It needs a lot of more effort. Compared to that, I can actually look at the data in Excel, I download it, and I do whatever I need to do. So they felt more comfortable doing more mundane works in the Excel, and it was not trustworthy because the MD was saying that okay, they will, each one of them will, if they are doing their own data processing, then they are also hiding a lot of data. So if that is happening, then I can't trust any of their processes. And when I look at the dashboard tells a totally different story. Each of the departments come and tell me totally different stories. Now they had to stop it, and which is why we ideally started with them with a GenAI training. MD himself was in the training, and it was a almost a 6 day long training. So then he said that, Jenny, is it possible that we can automate this whole process? Because we only suggested that this is possible. So then what we have done, we have taken all this data in one of their cloud ecosystem. They have their internal the cloud ecosystem. So what we did, from all the different sources, whatever be the source, bring the data in different folders in that cloud storage ecosystem, and then we created that product. Okay, now it is not that you are uploading this data on ChatGPT or something. It's impossible, because then the whole internal data will be, your whole confidentiality is going out. No, that's not the case. You are actually creating a solution which will be using the GenAI APIs, but it will translate the queries which are coming in natural language, that will translate that into the SQL codes. So there is a whole process called text to SQL. So we use that, and thankfully, most of the cases their data was more in the structured data. It is also possible if the data is unstructured, any kind of image, text, that kind of data also we have handled. But in this particular case, let's say 85 to 90% of their data was coming from ERP system, and that was totally structured. So all those text, whichever someone is going to ask, they will put it in that chat window that, okay, what is the sales of the last quarter, that has happened, and how does it compare with the previous quarter? How does it compare with the same quarter last year? And can you show me a trend that, how my sales is growing or not growing? And, let's say they just put it. Then this text will go, and based on our product, will convert it into the SQL code, because it knows what are the data that is there, which particular table from where they need to fetch it. If it needs to do certain join of multiple tables, it will do all those joins and actually create the whole code. Then that code will go and run automatically on the database, fetch the information, and show it in the screen. So there is no canned dashboard. They totally get rid of all those 20 plus different dashboards. Now it is just one single screen, and that also works on the mobile. So it's almost like your WhatsApp. You can just converse with it like a chat GPT on your mobile. You can just write what you need at any point of time. You have the access to data, any data that you are looking for, and it not only present in as a tabular format, but you can say, okay, can you present it? Let's say it has presented it in certain format, but then you can also say that, okay, but I want the chart to be a line chart or a heat map. Then it will change the whole chart into the heat map. You can come directly use it in your PPT or any places. It's very easy. You can download it and use it in the PPT format. So the moment that this happened, then the barrier actually broke and people found it, oh wow, this is something interesting. Now I can just ask and I will get the information easily. I don't need to bother this information available in this dashboard or another dashboard or another dashboard. I don't need to go and open all multiple dashboards, figure out all these things. So that was our first delivery. Then the question was that, okay, Ujjani, the people are asking only the most basic questions. And we also observed because we stored the log. So we checked that people are mostly asking very basic questions. The point is, if they only ask basic question, they will only get the basic information. How can we encourage them to go more deep dive into the data so that their insights and actions are far more richer? Because the ghost is in the detailing. Now, in a dashboard, you can beforehand create so many charts so that people will be watching it. But if people don't watch it, you still can force them to watch. So now what we did, we added recommendation on top of that. That if this is the question, then what are the next level immediate question that a intelligent person would have asked, and what is the deep down, double click at each point of the case that you will go down to be able to figure out therefore what's next. So now we have added that as a recommendation. So for each question that they're asking and getting the results, there are 3 to 5 next level questions which are recommended. Now that automatically creates a curiosity. Oh, okay, I have seen my sales are declining, but my obvious next question is, what are the factors why it is declining? Let's say it has given 5 factors. Then your question is, okay, if because of marketing has dampened, let's say 2% of my sale, but I have all, is it that I have reduced my marketing budget? So then then these are automatic next level questions it will keep giving to you, so that you automatically do the double click, and at the end of it you can say, okay, I have done all this conversation, now summarize and create a report out of it. So then it will automatically create a PDF report that it is actually like a story along with the charts. So as if someone has done this, by doing all the analysis, and then it has put the whole business story. They just walk in the MD meeting or any such board meeting with such kind of story. Each and every department is happy. And the best part is the data adoption has increased at such a level which none of the earlier Power BI dashboards could actually do. I hope I could give, some level of understanding here.
This is fascinating, frankly, because this idea about giving the dashboards and then users still extracting the data in Excel. I've seen it since 2009 when I got into this space, and they give the
Yeah,
best of the solution, and the users are still doing it. So now this actually eliminates that silo, because it was creating that
exactly.
Excel was always creating a silo,
Yes,
what you talked about, the MD of the company saying that the data is kept with them, and then they would probably be hiding some of the data out of it. And also it is in
yes,
multiple places. I cannot trust the data. So now the
exactly.
trust is remaining. You are now making, you are actually enabling the business user to be more effective. And you still don't have the silo. The data is still there in one, so you basically still having that concept of single source of
Yeah,
truth. So
exactly.
this is great. The only
Exactly.
one thing that I would want to ask before I let you go further with this is, how do you manage the security aspects or the access control, basically? Because a salesperson, if he starts asking about financial information, how do you control that?
Right. Right. So that at the back level, what we control is the data sets that they will have access to. So
Okay.
let's say even if someone asks who should not have the sales related information, then it will say that it will clearly have a guardrails. It will clearly say that okay, for this particular questions you do not have the legitimate access. Please take an approval and blah blah blah. So it will give such kind of a response also.
There is a question from Anand. I think he's asking about how is data privacy taken care of?
Okay. Maybe I will go to that question, but can you ask more details like what you mean by data privacy taken care of? Because data is not going anywhere. If your question is that we are using the LLM APIs, if your question is because of the API, is the data going outside? If that is your question, then I can answer it. But if your question is something else, so could you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Ujjaini, I'm Anand, and I would like this question department-wise data privacy. If certain
Right.
people in the top management only wants to know department-wise marketing, for example, marketing, sales, accounts. So accounts should
Yes.
not know certain things of sales, or marketing should
Right.
not know certain things of accounts. Likewise, this may be a weird
Right.
question.
No, but that is exactly what Sajid also asked. So that is the level where we restricted the access to the data tables altogether, right? Let's say even forget sales versus marketing. Let's say within sales they have three different locations. One location should not know about the other location, right? So now at the in the ERP system, there is a column which is clearly given that from which location those cells are coming, or each of those point of cells are related to which particular main location. So then against the people name, we actually given access. The access was barred against those particular columns. So that is actually possible, and we have done it at the back end of the code, so that at the front end you don't see any difference. The only thing is, if from location 1 people ask questions related to location 2, it will clearly check that okay, whether this person has the access to this or not. If it is not, then it will clearly tell that you do not have legitimate access to this particular data sets. Please take some approval and then come back, something like that. So yes, so this we have done at the back end of the product by giving access control against the source data tables.
Got it.
Because what the product is doing, product is taking the natural language question, translating it into the SQL code, right? Now in the SQL code, clearly if I'm asking for, let's say, location 2, then it will check, then it will convert into the code the location 2. When it will go and hit the main data set, it will find from this particular person's access, this particular table or this particular rows of the data is not accessible. Then immediately it will come back and give this answer back that, hey, listen, you don't have the legitimate access.
Got it, Ujjaini. Thanks. Thanks, Ujjaini.
Okay. And I want to share that this is exactly similar project we are doing with one US product. They are into the revenue management of the hospitality industry. And we just got that project, but very, very similar project that we are also doing and enabling the similar feature as a part of their product feature. So they are a product company, but we are enabling this as a premium product feature as a part of their product. And this is exactly same question that was asked by their clients. So they said that, okay, there are revenue managers who are very smart. So they actually go look at all the different kinds of data and they take the insights. But there are revenue managers who are very average level and they probably only ask a very surface level questions and only taking the decision based on that, which is where their decisions are very suboptimal. how can we enable the average revenue managers as a great revenue manager? And this recommendation actually is going to work there. So when we presented this as a solution to some of their, initial list of clients whom they will be launching this product as the first version, they said, oh wow, that will be great, because once the person sees that, okay, these are the 5 questions I could have asked, they were obviously going to hit some of those questions. So that will immediately enable an average revenue manager to a great revenue manager. So now you see, this is where the efficiency gain by generative AI comes.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'll move to the green sections, right? So we discussed the red sections where the jobs are vulnerable. We have looked at the yellow section where people are, it is not going to replace, but AI is going to work as a co-pilot to that. But as you saw that, when something even as a co-pilot, it is working like a co-pilot, some of the jobs are actually going, because as I told, this manufacturing company, cement manufacturing company, therefore didn't require to hire a bunch of business analysts, dashboard developers. They actually, stopped their, whole project with this consulting company who are managing, maintaining such kind of dashboards, and they saved a lot of money by doing that. So which is great. So now the question is therefore, what are the emerging AI enabled roles which are coming and which are gaining a lot of relevance? Okay. The number one in that is the AI engineers, which means, and when I say AI engineers, so far you must have thought that data scientists are obviously going to become AI scientist. The new name is AI engineer because in the AI engineer, the expectation is it's a cast of software engineer and data scientist and data engineers. Okay, all these three roles are coming together. Data is no more a service. Data is becoming product. So any service that you build, if you cannot create a front end, back end, and a DevOps around it, if you can't give a touch and feel of the product that you have built, people are not going to accept it. So the new role is AI engineer, which is sitting somewhere in between the software engineering and the data science and the data engineer. So these three things coming together, and therefore you need to understand how to create a front end, how to create a back end, how to integrate them, how to create the solution separately, how to put it in a Docker, how to ensure that it will be scalable, how will you take care of the cost optimizations of the tokens and put it and package it and therefore deliver it to the world. Okay, so that is the AI engineers. This is the hottest role at this moment. Whether you are a software developer or a business analyst or a business data scientist, this is the role you must aim to upskill yourself to. The second one is prompt engineering. A lot of functional people, analytical people, I would say everyone need to learn prompt engineering, because this is the now the language to converse with AI. So far you had to learn some coding language to converse with AI, but now you need to learn prompt engineering to converse with AI. And if you think that you use ChatGPT, therefore you know prompt engineering, I must say sorry, you must be just scratching the surface. Prompt engineering itself has so much science into it that if you don't learn all the techniques how to engineer a prompt, then you do not know how to do a prompt engineering. Because even the creation of an application, doing all this, all the generative business intelligence that I'm talking about, even though we are writing codes, even the codes are actually long, long prompts. Okay, so they are like 1,000, 1,200 words of prompts, ideally, that what we are writing at the back of it to be able to invoke the right capabilities of either LLM or large concept model or large reasoning model. So LLM is a very overarching umbrella term. It's a large language model, but underneath you need to choose, am I going to use LLM, which is very generic purpose? Am I going to use a specific purpose? Let's say for banking, they may say, I cannot use LLM, go for a on-prem thing. And therefore you have to go to a small language model. Okay, how will you work with that? How will you go from LLM to LCM, the large concept model? How will you go from that to large reasoning model, where all your chain of thought prompting and many other techniques which are going to come there. So prompt engineering itself is a science. I would say everyone, irrespective of their background, they must learn it, and it's a skill that anyone can learn if you have the good curiosity and come with the interest to learn. AI ethics and the governance experts now, yet not enough country has picked it up, but this is already a large challenge in the world. People who work in the data governance domain, this is an obvious path for you to upskill yourself, is AI ethics and the AI governance path. Okay, but to be able to do the governance, ethics, bias, all these things, you first need to learn yourself the AI engineering, because only when you understand what has gone in, then only you will be able to safeguard it, then only you will be able to evaluate whether the governance has taken place properly or not. Because governance is about what is going in, governance is what is happening inside, governance is about what is coming out and how am I utilizing it. That is the guardrail that governance puts in. So you need to know the complete flow well enough to be able to become that expert. Some of the senior people actually can aim to become this role. This is going to be a very, very hot role, already in demand. Some of the top companies are already hiring for this position. Data labeler and the trainer. Now, this is another hot role. I can tell you there are in number of ghost AI trainers. At times, you probably even don't know that you are an AI trainer, but you are training AI. There are multiple games that you play at the back of which actually the data and the AI is getting trained. Okay. I won't take the name of those games, but you may be thinking that you are just playing it, but at the back of it, some AI is getting trained by you. There is a whole data annotation industry that stands against the data labeling. So I know, founders who build data annotation company who actually annotated data at the back of Krutrim, at the back of some of the Indian, the competitions of the OpenAI, which has been created particularly for the Indic language. They had been the ones who actually trained a large number of people to be able to do absolute accurate data labeling. Because unless and until you give the very well accurate data, label data to AI, for AI to learn, it will be difficult and it will confuse AI. There is also, if you learn prompt engineering, you will see that how you can customize certain products by using exemplars. Exemplars also means, you have to give labeled examples which are absolutely accurate and of the top notch, properties. So that is a very demanding one. AI product managers, so people who are coming from the product domain, AI product managers is becoming very, very important and a hot topic. Human AI collaboration designers. This is a little new philosophical, topic, but this is, I see that already happening. I know a person who is in the design world, and when I say design, is not product design, but more into the fashion world. Now, this person has gone and learned AI very deeply to be able to bring in the human AI collaboration in the fashion world. Okay, so you can imagine a domain which so far was most creative and probably 100% human driven. That is the world is changing because this person has started experiencing it and then himself invested time learning AI and now bringing in it. He said that, Jenny, the if I give a human shape, the kind of design, even in architecture, okay, the kind of designs AI is generating is super fascinating. The imagination of human probably hasn't gone at that level, because even if I hire 15, 20, even 50 different designers, the kind of diversity that I get versus when I bring in AI into it, the level of diversity in the design that comes are phenomenal. Okay, so human AI collaboration designer is a very, very new, very fascinating and very, philosophical kind of a role which is coming there. So AI won't kill all the kind of job, but it will change which ones matter. And these are the one which are in demand. And as I said, AI is changing so fast that things are changing very fast. So you should actually take pretty fast step in terms of learning things, in terms of upskilling yourself before, you suddenly feel yourself at the risk. Beyond just, so this is one McKinsey report that I was talking at the starting. I will share the list, you should read it, but the way they have put it, this chart, I don't know how visible it is. It's a pretty long chart. And why they said 30%, they have looked at diverse kind of professionals, and then they put it into a 2 by 2 matrix. On your y-axis is the change in the labor demand. It's like the percentage change that is happening. And on the x-axis is the increase in automation adoption driven by generative AI. And if you see, the STEM professionals are at the top right corner, which means the demand is high. The companies are looking for people, but at the same time, they are looking for people who are with the new set of capabilities, because this is the domain which is going to be disrupted the most. Anything which is logical will be automated by AI. Anything which human can take decisions much easily will be automated by AI. So the STEM professionals, like each one of us, are most sitting at the most vulnerable position. At the same time, probably the most gorgeous position, because if we change ourselves, we will be celebrated like anything. Business and legal professionals, if you are in the consulting domain, education, workforce training, once again, like me and, some of my SETU colleagues, they are sitting there. And then there are many other, things. For example, customer service. If you look at it's sitting actually at the worst location. I was talking about the BPO industry that's sitting at the worst. It actually needs less people, and it's going to be also highly automated. I mean, very soon, I don't know whether that industry will even stay there, or, it will stay as a more AI industry. Okay. So the last but not the least, if you have to future-proof your career, my request will be skills that will stay relevant. You should focus there. These are the things which AI is being able to do it, but still human has a upper notch there. Problem solving and creativity, complex decision making, emotional intelligence and empathy. These are very natural human capabilities. Now, when I say problem solving and creativity, if you as a business analyst, your job is to mostly write the code, what has been asked to you, and just produce the results, then you will be replaced very easily. But if you are someone who can ideate, who can problem solve, who can very easily understand what the business problem is, who can, get the crux from the other leaders and actually solve it, put it into the modularities, and then go and solve it. So that problem solving, it's called the first principle problem solving. That is a skill which is still very rare. And if you can inculcate that, that's a great skill to have. Prompt crafting and system thinking. Now, this is for the technical people. This is a skill which is really critical in the AI era, the prompt crafting and the system thinking. Now, when I spoke about prompt engineering, there are two different kinds of prompt. One is called user prompting, other one is called system prompting. So you need to learn both the kinds of prompt engineering, not just the user prompting. Most cases, what you know is certain level of user prompting. Even people don't know enough of user prompting. Then comes the system prompting. The system promptings are the one which will help you create AI systems which will be cherished. Learning agility and the tech fluency. So please keep yourself completely agile. And now is the time probably when every weekend spend at least couple of hours learning something new. You must invest that if you want to stay relevant in the industry. So yeah, I mean, I will kind of put it here. Therefore, if you want to adopt the shift, continuously upskill yourself in the digital and the AI tools. Focus on creativity, critical thinking, cross domain learning. Now, cross domain learning is another one which is becoming very important. I have seen a lot of people say that, okay, I am a data scientist. Why am I asked to do anything which is about the data engineering thing? Come on, the boundaries are going to be blurred, or actually getting blurred very soon. So you cannot anymore say that, oh, I like only to build the ML models, I only like to do the NLP kind of projects. No, the border lines are so much blur at this moment. The cross domain learning is a must. Even if you come to any kind of domain learning, any kind of other skill learning, like if you're a data scientist and if you need to pick up how to create a website, how to create an app, please go and pick up those skills. Please don't say that, no, no, that's not my forte. That kind of luxuries are no more there. Embrace AI as a collaborator, not as a competitor. Be agile. Job titles will change. Don't be so sticky about your job titles. I would say among different data fraternities, probably data scientist is the role which is going to be diluted very soon. Already the salaries of data scientists are declining. So if anyone coming from other domain and trying to be a data scientist, please don't try to be a data scientist. Aim yourself for the AI engineering positions. Job titles will change, but the value remains the key. So it is about the value that you deliver to the organizations. Don't be so fixated about the job title. So it's not and always remember, like, it's not the strongest who survive. It's actually those who are more adaptable. So constantly keep adopting, and it's actually very easy to survive if you are able to adopt things. Even if if you have the right skills, even if, let's say, you have lost your current job, because of your skills you can still monetize your skills even in the freelance world. So have the skills which you can sell, have the skills which you can monetize within your organization, outside your organization. And if you can stay adaptable like that, then any job loss won't feel like a painful thing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I will kind of put it here. Sajid, if you have any question before we open it up.
Sure. So nothing from my side at this point of time. Just wanted to know more about the courses that you deliver at SETU School. But before that, if you can, there is a question from Mansi, which he
Mm-hmm.
says, if the companies are not ready to share their data on cloud because of security risk for training input data, how do we address their concerns on Gen AI platform?
And
Okay.
she has
So
another question after that. So, which platform is the best to learn prompt engineering? Yeah, just wanted to
okay.
state that. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So I think I know I will answer the second question of Mansi along with what Sajid was asking about, some of the courses that we have. But I will answer the first question about the cloud sharing of the data. First of all, companies not sharing their data on cloud. Already that shield has been broken long back. But if still there are some companies who do not want to do it, in the LLM, there is something called small language model. Okay, so small language model is something that you can hold the whole model within a local, server. And once you hold the complete intelligence within a local server, then, you can use it's called SLM, small language model. You can use that. We particularly face such kind of challenges mostly with the financial organizations and with US based healthcare organizations where you have a very strong regulations in the healthcare. So these are the two spaces we have faced it. Both the cases you can use instead of LLM, you can use the small language model, and that will be in the local server. So that means for every client, you can host it within their on-premise local server and use it, within the premise for their purposes. I hope I could answer that question.
Yeah, thank you,
Um,
ma'am.
yeah. The second one is about, which platform is best, or Sajid has asked about the prompt engineering, like, the courses that we have. Very, very related to this, I wanted to discuss two sets of courses. Now, once again, this is not a sales pitch, but I thought given we have some of these courses and which we are actually delivering and training for some of the top organizations of the world. So let's say we are working with PwC, we are working with Ernst& Young, we are working with IBM, we are even training the IBM people, KPMG people, some of the top banking people. If they finding very high value in those courses, why not we bring some of those courses to everyone else? So that's the whole purpose of sharing this specific courses. We do offer some live public workshops. These are more like workshops mostly done over the weekends, and comes generally once in a month or once in 2 months. So grab the opportunity. And the first one, and this is once again, I'm saying because there is an organization who have mandated 50,000 of their employees, irrespective of their background, to learn Python. And this is one of the big four companies. So the reason I'm saying it, if they are facing the heat, that means the heat is already there. And if they are seeing that this is important and they are already organizing such a course, that means that it's worthy for others to learn. Now, why Python coding? And I could have said, Java or SQL or many things. Python is typically you will be using for your LLM, any kind of large language model or GenAI product creations. Okay, so Python is a very basic language for that. Because of that, Python has been chosen. We have created a course. Now this is another problem is we had a earlier course which was very typically taught like either you are taught in a data science course or in an engineering course. What happened is a lot of people who are trying to do a career transition from other domains to the data science and AI domain, they said that we find it very difficult to understand the coding because we understand what is happening, but if someone asks us to produce a code from scratch, that becomes a nightmare because I always can't remember the libraries, I can't remember the functions, I can't remember the syntaxes, and therefore I can't produce a proper code, and I keep on spending time on debugging the code. Now, this is the plight that we are solving in this new course, and this is called Python for Everyone. The way we are teaching it is through pseudocoding because that was the requirement also, because we are actually training HR, legal, finance, general consultant, tax, audit, compliance, those kind of people, right? So we had to completely rethink how we will teach Python to them. So we are teaching through pseudocoding and with the help of GenAI, so that it's a very different way that Python coding will be done there. where you don't need to remember your libraries, don't need to remember functions, don't need to remember even syntaxes. But still, you will be able to understand, till you will be able to produce codes, and you will be actually able to do all the tasks that you need to do. So that's one of the Python coding course. The second one, as I said, prompt engineering. I don't know how much I spoke about vibe coding, but when I told that AI is writing code, that has a new name. That's called vibe coding. That means you only give the directions, what you want to do through prompting, and then the system generates the codes for you. Okay, so this prompt engineering and vibe coding are therefore highly connected to each other. You can learn prompt engineering alone. So the way this course is structured, if you only want to learn prompt engineering and live there, that is absolutely possible. If you want to learn after prompt engineering, how am I using system prompting to generate applications through vibe coding, you can also go to the level 3 and you can learn that. So this is the second one. Third one is what takes now the applications, the LLM products that you have built, which are still working in silos. Now you want to create a complete workflow, and you want the complete autonomy and the automation of the decision making, the complete automation of the actions. That's where it moves to the AI agents and the agentic AI. So these two are two different terms. You can still create AI agents which are not agentic, and then you can create AI agents where you put them into the right workflow to make it an agentic. Okay, so this is the another course which is AI agents and agentic AI. Now, the reason I'm putting all of these three together, because for all these three, we are bringing in the coming month in June, from 14th of June, middle of June, we are bringing a live cohort. So all of them are starting on 14th June, but at different time. I won't ask you to learn all of them, but at least you can choose one of them and you can start your learning. Okay. So 14th June, the Python coding starts, in the afternoon time of India hours, because ideally the courses will be conducted by the Indian time, and the people are also in India. So but we still have considered a lot of US and Canada and London and all those places, people reached out to us. So we are reconsidering our morning courses by the afternoon one. So 4 p.m. IST is when it will start, which is equivalent to your 6:30 a.m. Toronto time. I think that is still a good time. You can wake up early and you can learn for, let's say, a couple of hours before your breakfast. Very fresh energy, and you learn it, and the day is whole yours. So that's one. The second one is happening now. Prompt engineering and vibe coding. We have recently, concluded our cohort one. There became a huge demand, and which is why we are bringing the cohort two once again. And not only that, after the cohort one happened, 6 new companies have reached out to us asking to deliver the same course for their organization. Some organization has 500 engineers, someone has 1400 engineers. So this is what we are doing at the same time. Because of a lot of requests, we are bringing it to the public also. Now this one is happening from 9 a.m. IST, which is still better. And I tell you, in the cohort one, we already had learners from US and Canada. They actually learned from midnight, but they said, oh, I don't want to let go of the opportunity, but I will learn. And you can, if you want, you can even talk to them. So but this time we are trying to do it earlier, 9 a.m., so that it's not past midnight. You at least have 11:30 p.m. And if you can manage the late night hours, and it's only 2 hours every weekend, so it is not like long hours. You just learn 2 hours, and you take the day, and the next day again 2 hours. So Saturday Sunday courses happen. And the agentic AI and the AI agents and agentic AI, once again, this is happening at 11 a.m. IST. which may be a little difficult, but still, if you are already in the ahead of the journey, you already know prompt engineering, you are pretty good at Python, you can actually join the AI agents and agentic AI. It's a little odd hours for you, but if you think that's interesting, you can join that. If and these are all short courses. So Python coding is around, I think, 22 to 25 hours course, and every day you will learn only 2 hours, so you can assume how many days. Prompt engineering, vibe coding is only 12 to 14 hours course. AI agents and agentic AI, once again, 25 hours of course. These are all short, and therefore, you can learn kind of bite size, and but you work out with something. I mean, certificate is not so important for us. For us, important is you work out with a skill which you can produce, which you can utilize. Okay, so you work out with solutions which you have built in the session, and you can actually showcase to anyone using it. In case you want, like, okay, no, Jenny, these are very short courses, but if I want to really be the first one, which is AI engineer, will this course make me AI engineer? My answer will be not 100%. To be an AI engineer, you need to learn subject at a much depth level. Okay, these are the subjects you will learn if you only want to apply it. If you do not want to necessarily know at the depth of the subject, but if you want to go to the depth of the subject, then there is a course which we call as a LLM specialization. If you come from a data science, data engineering, or tech developers background, and you already you are invested and you really want to learn this subject, then you will have to spend close to 90 to 100 hours. That will take you 2.5 months to 3 months kind of a time. We already conducted this course. First cohort is already done. I'm not immediately sure when we will bring the second cohort, but the session recordings are there and mentorings are available. So if you still want, you can still try to, if you want that I want to be invested and really deeply hone my skill as an AI engineer, then you can, look for this course. But otherwise, my suggestion will be start with the smaller one, build comfort, build confidence, and then move on to the longer course. That I think will be better. That will be more motivating for you also. I'll stop here. I will stop sharing the. Okay, before I go that, I must, I absolutely want to thank all of you. And if you have any question, all these courses are on our website. It's very simple, setuschool.com. And you can just take a screenshot of this. The number is either you can call or you can WhatsApp. So we are though available during the Indian hours, but still we try to give you answer as soon as possible. And you can always write us email at mitra@setuschool.com. People keep checking, even I myself keep checking this email. If you want any one-on-one, please write here or even on the WhatsApp, and I will share my calendar. You can block your time. I will stop here, and absolutely happy to take any questions that anyone has.